So this is a Lynn Gray table demo. So we're going to scale this up. I'm going to guess that it's about 24 from here to here. So I'm going to type scale, enter, click here. I'm going to hold down shift just so that it's a straight line. I don't think it's really that important. Click here, and then I'm just going to type 24. So I have a 24-inch tall Lynn Gray table roughly. So I'm going to just try to get a rough distance check here. So how do I check the distance? There you go. I don't think I showed you guys that, but yeah, distance, type DI for distance. Then I can click here and here. It tells me that's about 18 inches. You can see it on the top, right? So then I know that the diameter is about 18 inches. And let's just take a rough distance this way. It's like ½ an inch, right, in diameter. So a couple of things. In this case, I think I'm going to have you guys teach you guys a sweep. So if you analyze this donut, it's basically a donut. It's really made of a circle that is half inches in diameter. So before I do that, I'm going to click here and then hit diameter and then type 0.5. So here's ½ inch. And then it's also made of a circle that is 18 inches in diameter. Okay? So I'm going to click here. It should be in diameter, so I'm going to go 18. So if you guys imagine a garden hose on the floor, the garden hose could be described with two shapes, a circle and then a squiggly line, right? And if that circle goes along that squiggly line, that becomes a garden hose. So this is the same thing here, where that donut, I'm going to go to 3D here. If I took this circle and flip this thing 90 degrees, oops, right? And I'm going to go ahead and flip it again. 90 degrees. So if I put that donut on this circle and made it go around that track, that'll give me my ring. So I'm going to help Rhino, and I'm going to, just because I want to teach you guys how to move stuff. So I'm going to take the center of that to, is there a quad? Here. Click on quad. Should be quad of somewhere right there. Okay. A couple of things I did. I turned on my quad option, which is down here. And that every circle has a quad at the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock position. Those are called quads. So I just snapped it from my center of the ring. So now in Rhino, if you want a shape to follow a path, it's called a sweep. Okay, sweep. So I'm going to type sweep 1. Okay. Technically, it's called a one-rail sweep. A rail is the path, like a train rail. And then the shape will follow that rail, right? So right now it's asking me select rail. So that's my rail. Enter. Oops. What happened? Select rail. Enter. Oops, sorry. Ah. Come on. Sweep. Sweep 1. So select rail. And then now it's asking me to select cross section. There, enter. Don't worry about the arrow for now. Later on it gets more complex. So, so now that thing just goes around in a circle, right? And then I have my ring. Okay? Now, let's work on, so I imagine the base ring and the top ring are the same. So I'm gonna make a copy of this. So let's go ahead and work on this. So when you look at the stem, can you guys visualize like a number 7 kind of sorta, and then like a ½ inch diameter or 3/4 inch diameter post, right? Yeah, Brian.
When you do a sweep, does it automatically tap it?
Yeah, yeah. In this case, it does. Yes. So in this case now, I'm going to just draw a line. That's, what do we say, 24, right? 24-inch line. And then it seems like it's coming out about that much. So I'm going to just do that. Okay? And I'm going to draw another circle. Actually, I should have some circles in here. Move this. I still have that circle. And you know what? I'm going to make a, I think that 1/2 inch was too small. I'm going to go ahead and make a 3/4 inch. Take that guy. Rotate that up. I'm going to move endpoint to the center. So I'm going to do a 1 rail sweep, right? This is my rail, and that's my shape. So I go to sweep. That's my rail. That's my shape. Enter. There you go. Okay? So I have my stem, and Brian, it did not cap it. I'm wondering if there was a cap option. I'd have to check again when we run the next one. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and cap it now. Alright. So this one's really the opposite, kind of. It's coming down, and it seems like it's kind of skinnier and going up. I don't know. Sorry. I'm just going to make a copy of it. Huh. So it's kind of like that, but the problem here is that I get a really skinny tube going in to the big tube because it has the ability to go up and down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select that and just push it down. Okay? I don't know if I showed you that command. Did I? Yes? No? Maybe? Maybe not? Alright, I'm going to show it to you now. I might have showed it to you the first week. So in Rhino, if you have an object, you can do what we call a sub-selection. Alright, sub-selection is that this box, for instance, is made up of 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So this box is made up of 6 sides. And then it also is made up of a bunch of edges, right? So what I can do is I can hold down Control-Shift, which is super important. You hold down Control-Shift and I select that box. Then I'm able to select the face of that box, which at that point I can move it around. I could also select the edge of that box and just move just the edge. And in certain cases you can also select just the points of the box. No. In Studio Max you can. It won't let you here. Alright? So you can do what they call a sub-selection. So that's essentially what I did here. Was I was holding down Control and Shift on my keyboard and hit the top of that ring, and then I literally just brought it down. Alright? Now a couple of other things you could do here. I can select that, and then I believe I could. So I just tapped my Alt key, and I made a copy of that surface, right? So at that point, oops. At that point, I can scale that because I'm being lazy now, or I could just draw another circle on top and extrude it. But now I'm just kind of being lazy. I can just grab my scale grip, and I can just scale it to the size that I want. Obviously, I'm not being accurate at this point. And then once again, select that top. And now I want to extrude it, right? So what I want to do here is, instead of just moving it up and down, I'm going to hold down my Control button. Ooh, and it doesn't work. Really? Should work. Okay. So what I did was and let me do it again, just because it's quirky. It all depends on what software I'm thinking Illustrator right now. So when I select that, I'm going to start moving, and then I'm going to push down Control, and I don't know if you see a little line that pops up. So that's in extrusion mode. So now I actually made a physical 3D model. Which now I can kind of jam in here, and then go back to my perspective, and then pick that face and move it up. So how do I shorten this?
Use the
Yeah, Shift Control, select that face, and just push it back. Right? Yeah, you can also Boolean. Also, agreed. Agreed. So we are going to get more complex here. So let's go to the top view now. I mean, I'm just eyeballing it for now, but for you guys, I would like for you guys to learn how to line things up. I don't want to do it on the demo because it's just going to take forever. But I need you guys to line things up and make sure that things are centered and all that other good stuff. Tap Alt to make a copy. So in this particular case, we have an opening here. So any ideas on how to create that opening? Yeah, and that's where the AutoCAD thing comes in. Rhino is just amazing that way. I'm going to, you know what? I should draw a straight line. I'm going to type 0. It's always a good idea to have like guidelines everywhere, because then you guys can use those guidelines to snap to, right? I'm not going to snap to it right now because I have to bring the move command to do that, but I'm only doing that so that I can have a symmetry line. So I can just draw, here, let's just go from the center. Just be really technical here. Like a mirror. Oops. Okay. Oh, on the top. I think it'll still work. Alright, I think it'll still work. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to hide that. Oh, by the way, and this is a live demo, so I'm using more advanced tools that I haven't shown you guys, but hopefully you guys can pay attention. I want to hide that for a second, so I'm going to my standard tab and hit the little light bulb. Because I don't want to cut the top piece, I just want to cut the bottom piece. So this is, what's cool about Rhino is that it'll project these lines down. So as you can tell here on this perspective view, my V shape is actually floating on top of my base shape. But on top view, this is what I want. So I'm going to go to Trim. My cutting objects will be these two guys. Enter. An object to trim will be that. So it's actually using those two as guidelines and it's trimming it all the way through. So there you go. So now I have a hole in it, which means that I should cap it. Ooh, I guess that got trimmed too. I'll just cap that. So that and that are two separate pieces for some reason, and that's okay because I'm just going to Boolean them. Right? So I'm going to connect that guy to that guy, and that should be all one piece. And then come back in here. Oops. And say Show All. So here you go. So the beginnings of the Eling Gray table. I love for you guys to do all these little details, and if you go online and type up Eling Gray table, you'll be able to get some better images so that you guys can have better references. Let me kind of do this really quick for you guys, how I would do it. Oops. You know, in general, If you're trying to be really accurate, you should draw it. If right now, I don't really care that you're very accurate because I want you guys to just learn how to model. So I don't mind you guys borrowing. So for me too, I'm just going to borrow from here. Excuse me. So in this case, all I'm going to do is scale it up, reduce it down, move it back. Well, there you go. So you're starting to get all these little knuckles and whatever else you guys want to do. I'm just going to go to top view here, create a real quick box. Now, be careful because I have my snap mode on, so it's going to snap to whatever it snaps. So I might be snapping onto the top of this table or the middle of the table, so be careful. By default, if you don't snap to anything, it'll draw on the bottom of the table, if you will, or the construction plane. So in my case, I think I'm just going to eyeball it here because I don't want any surprises, because then I have to move it around and all that other good stuff. So you see how it drew on the bottom of my construction plane. Just move it up. And by the way, this is super dirty modeling. Hopefully you guys will not do dirty modeling eventually. For now, I just want you guys to learn to navigate. Hold down Control Shift. Reduce the size of that a little bit. And there you go. And let's see. I'm going to turn on an EMAP for you guys so you can see. So here's a Chrome. Great table. Okay.